is it? Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters is directed by Paul Feig, the guy who brought you Bridesmaids and Spy and I believe The Heat. Maybe The Heat. At least Bridesmaids. We know Bridesmaids. And so he's teamed up with, some of the people from Bridesmaids, and he's made this all-female starring Ghostbusters. You know about it. You know all about this movie. If you know anything about the internet and how to go onto the internet, you've heard about this. Probably negative things. Now, let's talk about my love-hate relationship with this movie before I even stepped in. It started off with me being very excited because I like Paul Feig. I like Melissa McCarthy when she's not being Tammy or whatever the last boss, the boss. And I really like Kristen Wiig. And I really like Kristen Wiig in more serious stuff. And even when she takes a step back, I usually really like Kristen Wiig. So I was super... Oh, and Leslie Jones makes me laugh. And so I was super excited. And I got really excited. And I stayed really excited. And every time somebody was just talking, females, I don't want to watch the show, Ghostbusters, they're ruining Ghostbusters. Yeah, I don't give a shit. You can reboot something. You're not going to come and take the DVD off my shelf. Will I compare it? Absolutely. That's what you pay. That's the price you pay for remaking something, is you get all the attention with all the brand name recognition. Everything that's already got put into that franchise, this is the price you pay, is that you get compared to it. Sorry, but that's the rule. It's just how it goes. I got off on a little bit of a tangent, so I got really excited, and then the first trailers dropped, and they were terrible. The first trailer was garbage. Second trailer was garbager. They are really bad. This is a really bad marketing campaign. All right, there you go. I usually try to talk right away in the beginning to tell you what the movie's about, but you know what it's about. It's Ghostbusters. Three scientists and a Ernie Hudson character, and a everyday working gal join forces to fight a big paranormal problem in New York. Moving on. So the way I like to do these is I like to tell you to click like and subscribe. Do that. If you've already subscribed, thank you. If you click like, I know I can see how many views there are and how many likes there are. There's usually like 2 or 3 likes, and sometimes I get more than 2 or 3 views. Sometimes I get 100. Very rare, but I do. I pay attention. So, click like. The way this works is I am going to give you my positives of this movie, and then I'm going to give you my negatives, and then I'm going to give you a tailorized review between 0 and 10. So, let's set this down, and then let's take a deep breath, and let's talk about positives. Is this movie funny? Yes. It's a funny movie. That's your positive. It made me laugh. Leslie Jones from SNL probably made me laugh the most. I probably only have about 2 Gutbusters in this where I just, straight up laughed my ass off. One of them was from Leslie Jones, but still, she made me chuckle a lot. I think that she's kind of the breakaway of this. I really do. And when I say Ernie Hudson type I wasn't being racist, because I know Ernie Hudson's black and she's black. No, she's not. She, just like Ernie Hudson, she comes in as the 4th member, and she's a working gal, and and then she just wants to help out, get another job. And she played it so much, I don't know, I really liked her character the most. It's probably out of all of them, the most believable. If I met any of these 4 characters, Kate McKinnon's character, Kristen Wiig's character, Melissa McCarthy's character, and Leslie Jones's character, if I've ever met all 4 of them at once, I would not believe the other 3 are even people. Like, you don't talk or act like a human being. Leslie Jones did, and she was really funny. All right, moving on from Leslie Jones. Other performances, the other Gutbuster I got, and the other really, really, really great was Thor himself, Chris Hemsworth as Kevin, the receptionist. He kills it. He's hilarious. He's really funny. Chris Hemsworth has been one really bad Vacation Reboot. He was in Vacation Reboot, but he was still funny in Vacation Reboot. I want him to stick to comedies. You can go and get an Oscar. Go and get an Oscar. You can stick in your Marvel, but when you're not doing a movie in August or in December for an Oscar, and when you're not doing a Marvel movie, do comedies, because you're fucking funny, Chris Hemsworth. So, good on you, man. What else? Positives. The ghosts look cool. Yeah, right. Melissa McCarthy wasn't bad. Kristen Wiig wasn't bad. Alright, moving on to negatives. As I already stated that this was a funny movie, so I'm going to get past that. It was funny. What's the biggest negative of this movie? This movie lacked heart. It didn't have any, it really did feel like, and I know Leslie Jones and Kate McKinnon are both from SNL, but this really did feel like a skit. It never really gave me depth. It went for the easy joke. More often than not, it was joke. I didn't really care about it. I just don't. And I'm going to forget about this movie. I am. It made me laugh. But it's not going to be a movie that's going to stand the test of time as one of the greatest comedies of the year even. Or of the decade. Ghostbusters, the original, is standing the test of time being one of the greatest comedies of all time. And there's probably about 10% of the jokes in the original Ghostbusters that there are in this. But the original Ghostbusters had heart, symbolism. It means a lot, and there's a lot going on in Ivan's original. He directed Ghostbusters. There was so much stuff going on. There's really nothing going on in Paul Feig's remake. It's besides jokes. There's not really a lot of. I mean, they're not fighting a god. They're not. They don't have all these symbolic, awesome moments of like the government's trying to shut them down, the government's trying to stop them, but they, three scientists, they fight down a literal god, and then then Ray. Dan Aykroyd's character is so childish that it literally creates a giant monster for them to fight. These are amazing things of the original Ghostbusters, which I love, as you can tell, that this movie just doesn't have. It just doesn't have those kind of things. It doesn't have those deeper plays. And I know I'm being unfair, so fuck you. I'm going to be unfair. I'm going to compare this to Ghostbusters. If you want to use a Ghostbusters name, you have to be compared by it at least a little bit. Alright, now, other negatives, I gotta move on. I'll talk about that for a long time, but yeah, just lack of heart. Other negative, Kate McKinnon. She's funny on SNL. I don't ever watch SNL, but I've seen skits with her in it. She wasn't playing like much of a part. She was funny. Don't get me wrong. She made me laugh a couple times. She wasn't bad. But she didn't take this seriously. She wasn't acting. She didn't have a character. She was like just and then just like weird one-liners. That's all her character was. It was honestly like I don't know, like Tom Green in Road Trip. That's what she reminded me of. She's just this weird guy. And then she makes jokes. And that's it. She didn't have a character I should care about. Now, I'm going to bring us back to the original Ghostbusters here for a second. One more time. No, not at all. But you had these amazing characters. You had Egon Ray Stantz, Peter Venkman, and Ernie Hudson. I already discussed Leslie Jones nailed Ernie Hudson's part. Boom. And then you have Melissa McCarthy pretty much nails Ray Stantz. She was pretty close for Ray Stantz. It was good. Kristen Wiig was kind of her own thing. I'm not going to say she was anything like Bill Murray's Peter Venkman. I do not agree with that. But she wasn't bad. But she didn't grab that. Now, they were trying to pass Kate McKinnon off as the new Egon. No. Nope. Egon had this straight face. He was calm all the time, and he was extremely intelligent. She was like the stoner, like I used to hang out with in high school, who's super vulgar. I was probably the super vulgar stoner in high school too, but she was like that, but also super smart. So it didn't actually make a lot of sense. She acted like, I don't know, like just completely ridiculous all the time, but at the same time that she can create the their particle accelerators on, the backpack. She can create all that stuff, but at the same time she's pulling off as this ridiculously psycho, weird, crazy character. I don't know. Maybe a lot of people are liking her. I know my girlfriend was laughing at almost all of her stuff. You don't usually look into things as much as I do. But, yeah. Maybe you liked her. Good on you. Let me know which one of the four stood out the most. So that's it for the four characters. The cameos in this, there's a bunch of them. And it's really just for nostalgia grab. There's really nothing... everyone but Harold Ramis, rest in peace. I love Harold Ramis, directed my favorite comedy of all time, Caddyshack, one of my favorite comedies of all time. I got a lot of favorite comedies of all time. But he can't come back because he passed, but they bring in Dan Aykroyd, and they bring in Bill Murray, and, maybe you'll see Ernie Hudson, Sigourney Weaver, and then all these characters. And they show up for one scene, and... it's pretty much just so we can go, hey, I remember you were in a movie in the 80s. Didn't really have any jokes, is what I'm saying. And it was really just for, like, here's an example. My girlfriend hasn't memorized and loved every second of the original Ghostbusters movie. I wasn't a huge fan of the sequel. I was when I was a kid, but you rewatch it now and it's, but... she wasn't a huge diehard Ghostbusters fan growing up like I was, and she didn't recognize one of the cameos. The girl who played the secretary, I should know the name, but I'm trying to juggle a lot right now. She didn't recognize that character, so when that character, or that actress jumped up, she was like, why are people in the crowd laughing? Why is there a reaction? It's like, oh, that's cameo. She goes, oh, so? Because that's all it was. It was just cameo. It wasn't anything else. So that's what I'm getting at with the cameos. And then there's like a random, not even from the originals, there's a random, I'll just say the Ozzy Osbourne cameo that just out of nowhere for one punchline, he's on the scene for 1 second. And it was like, what? Weird. Okay. That was odd. They didn't even give us a chance to react. It's like they had to put it in, and they knew it didn't end up being funny, and they just put it in anyways, and then kind of just try to blow past it so no one remembered. Yeah, that's kind of all I got. I'll be giving this a little higher than it sounds because I laughed, because I enjoyed myself. But it's definitely under average. I'm not going to get it above a 5. So I'll just get right to it, but go ahead and go see it. If this movie makes money, I'm not going to care. Good on you. I'm glad if this movie makes money, I'm glad it made money. It just doesn't quite deserve the Ghostbusters thing. And now I was about to end this, but I'll bring up one thing I remember I was going to bring up. The story arc wasn't too bad. It was pretty predictable, actually, but the main storyline wasn't terrible, but it definitely shouldn't have been used for the first one. For the first of the remakes of the reboot. If they're trying to make a new franchise out of this, they probably shouldn't use this storyline because this really does feel like a secondary, kind of like the third one. That's what this storyline feels like, or like something they would have done in a cartoon. One of the really good Ghostbusters cartoons. Well, Extreme Ghostbusters wasn't that good, and the first one I really liked, the first Ghostbusters cartoon. It feels like a cartoon storyline. It really did. And yeah, that's fine for that, but when you're trying to call yourself Ghostbusters, they fight Gozer, the Gozerian, who's pretty much is God, and he turns Harold Ramis and Sigourney Weaver into dogs. This is a massive, massive villain, and they fight like a nerd in this. So that was alright. It wasn't as grandiose. They should have went a little bit more grandiose. Now I'm just nitpicking. Alright, we'll get to it. I thought of this movie, I gave it a... Oh, that just says Ghostbusters. I gave it a 4.5 out of 10 giant red crossouts. 4.5 out of 10. Okay, there you go, 4.5. So it's not quite fresh, but it's not the worst review. It's not going to be in my top 10 worst movies of the year. It's just middle of the road. It just is. It was funny, but it just isn't. It isn't anything special. All right. Okay. We did a. I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it was me. And Taylor and Billy did a review for Spy. That's the last Paul Feig film that I went and watched, and it was really good. So, if you guys haven't seen our review for Spy, watch the movie Spy, and also check out our review. I'll put that in the description. That's a good thing to pitch to you guys. Watch our review for Spy, and bye!